Hoops and Hustle family, what's going on? It's your boy Will. I'm stepping in for my girl Nia tonight, so let's get right into it. As we all know, March Madness is in full effect. The women's tournament has been on fire. It has been nothing but good games, great competition, great plays, great players doing great things. And since we're starting with great players doing great things, the story of the weekend, everybody's probably heard it by now. I know you've seen it. I know you saw the score. I know you saw how she went crazy. I got to talk about Paige Bueckers, aka the number one pick in the W draft. And we talk about 40 points. 40 points. 40 points on 6 of 8 shooting from the three-point line, 16 to 27 from the field. In 35 minutes, Paige Bueckers went crazy tonight. And if you don't think that she has that in her game, I'm sorry to tell you, but she had to remind people today that she's like that. And I'm so glad that she did that, because people have been playing on Paige for a lot of the season, but I don't think people realize Paige is one of the most efficient basketball players to ever step foot on the court on the women's side of the bracket. Whether women or men, actually, if we really want to be honest, she's like top 2 all time. Most efficient people, most efficient players of all time, like literally of all time. So I don't know where that came from, that she couldn't play or she couldn't score, but I'm glad she broke that narrative. I'm glad people stopped disrespecting her and saw that Paige is really a bucket. So I'm so excited. UConn did what they needed to do today against Oklahoma. They got the win. Like I said, 40 points from Paige, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. And really, if we're being honest, Paige really did all of the damage. Nobody else on the team scored more than 12 points. So imagine you guys go into the tournament and you're playing against a person who, at the flip of the switch, can literally go from, hey, I'm 16 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, to I'm going to drop 40 on you. Amazing. I'm just so excited. But just recapping everything that's happened so far on the weekend as we get ready for the Elite Eight. Duke with the win over North Carolina, 47-38. I'll be honest, I didn't expect the score to be so low, even though they're both great defensive teams. I thought the scoring would be a little bit better, a little bit higher. I expected a little bit more. But with that being said, I'm not surprised that Duke came out with the win. Like Duke, I like their style. I like their coach, obviously, Kara Lawson, former W player, former baller. So I think they have a lot of potential. They have a lot of skill there. I'm just waiting to see what happens in this next round with this next matchup against SC, South Carolina, and seeing what they can do offensively. I've seen everything defensively that I need to see from this team. I'm just worried about their offense. And that's the same thing I could say about South Carolina. I think South Carolina is one of the best teams and has a chance to absolutely win it all this year. The only problem, just like South Carolina and just like Duke, I worry about their offense. South Carolina won over the weekend. On Friday, they won 71-67 against Maryland. If you watch that game, then you know that was not as close and it wasn't as easy as it may sound. South Carolina struggled a lot. And this isn't the first game that they struggled offensively in the last couple of weeks. So just like Duke, just like South Carolina, I just want to see who's going to be able to score and who's going to be able to put the other team away on top of their defense. Moving on, LSU with the big win over NC State. I did have NC State with the upset on my bracket. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be the first to admit it. Only because I thought the guard play from NC State would be a little bit better and would be enough to get them over the hump against LSU. Seeing that, Flaugier for LSU had been out for a couple of weeks, dealing with some injuries. And, the guards for LSU aren't really the big-time scorers, so to speak. I knew they had the advantage inside with Anissa Morrow, which exactly like I thought it would. She went out there and balled. And if you guys don't know who she is, get to know her. I think, just a side note, Anissa is definitely a top 3, top 4, whatever you want to call it, draft pick. I don't care what anybody says. Let me read you the stat line that she had. With no other help, really, no other big stars. Anissa Morrow had 30 points, 19 rebounds, just 12 of 25 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. The 3-point game isn't even her strong point, and she was still efficient from there. Double-double is pretty much the whole season. Doesn't matter that she's undersized. Doesn't matter that she's not as big or as strong or as brute as some of the other women that she plays against in that position. but she's a dog. And as a dog, I love it. So shout out to Anissa Morrow. And shout out to Anissa for also getting that reporter right for mispronouncing her name. I appreciate that. I love that about that. That dog mentality is going to come out no matter what, even in the post-game interview. But I look forward to LSU advancing. I'm glad that they were able to get over the hump. I like the fact that in this next round, they get their lick back against UCLA, who won over Ole Miss. And if we're being honest, nobody really thought that Ole Miss had a chance against UCLA because of the size of Lauren Betts. And as it did, come to show its head, UCLA dominated. UCLA won that game 76-62. And of course, Lauren Betts, the one I pretty much forecasted would be the biggest issue that they would come against, did exactly what I thought she would do. Lauren Betts was 15-16 from the field, and she had 10 rebounds and 31 points in 31 minutes. That's the game right there. Ole Miss literally had no answer. Nobody that could stop her on the inside, and her dominance showed that she's that girl. So I'm really, really, really excited for the Elite Eight that we have coming up. Like I said, the women's tournament has been amazing so far. Outside of the loss of Juju, which has been, devastating to USC and everything that they've had to, deal with and overcome, I am so excited for these games. I'm so excited for what's coming next. I'm so excited to see all of these matchups in the next round. I mean, you keep going on. Like we just talked about UCLA. We just talked about who they just had to beat with Ole Miss. Now we go down to the other side of the bracket. We just talked about USC with the big win. That was a big emotional win. Big shout out to USC for putting it together to come and get that win, knowing that they don't have Juju on the court, knowing that their best player, their leading scorer, and arguably their best defender, if we're really being honest, is not with the team. They come out with the emotional win over Kansas State, 67-61. Big time win for that program. Super, super happy for them. Excited to see if they can keep pushing in this tournament. Like we brought it up at Oklahoma, had no chance. UConn showed their heart. Tennessee and Texas, I liked that game a lot more than I expected to. I knew Tennessee was good, and I knew Tennessee was going to put up a fight, and I knew that the game was going to be close. And I think, if you're really being honest, I think Tennessee exposed a lot that's wrong with Texas offensively and defensively. And I think that Texas is going to have a hard time as the number one seed, especially as the number one overall seed for this tournament. I think they're going to struggle. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it may be. I saw a lot in their game today that makes me think that they can't really handle pressure. Tennessee started off the game with a couple of full court presses that really, really kind of rattled Texas and kind of had them shook a little bit until they were able to gather their bearings and start playing basketball again. But yeah, I'm just not all the way sold on Texas, but it's still early. We'll see. They won. They advanced. They get the pleasure of going against one of the best games this weekend, best teams this weekend by far, and that is TCU, with the upset win to some over Notre Dame. And I say to some because a lot of people in their bracket had Notre Dame over TCU, and a lot of people had TCU over Notre Dame, depending on what side of the coin you may rest on. But I'll be honest with you, I had my money on TCU, and the reason why I had my money on TCU is because Notre Dame has been playing like trash. I'm just going to say it. Even though they were the number 3 seed going into the tournament, and even though they were a top 3, top 5 seed at the end of the year, if you watch the losses that they had towards the end of the season, you watch how they played, you watch their energy, you watch their effort levels, Notre Dame did not look good. They just won enough games to get them into the tournament so that they can secure a top, 3 seed, 4 seed, or whatever in the brackets in the tournament this year. But if you watch the games, they were not good. They looked bad. They couldn't score. They barely could pass the ball to each other, and they just looked like they lost their love for the game. I'm really, really disappointed in the effort that they put out there. But I'm also excited on the other side. Haley Van Liv, she gets her redemption tour, and it continues. I'm happy to see that not only is she winning and she's carrying her team and she's putting a name out there for herself, but she's also been candid about her mental health and how it's affected her and how it's helped her grow in certain areas and matured her. And it's put her on the stage that she's on today. And as a player, a former player, somebody that really, really loves the game, I just love seeing great things happen for people that obviously maybe didn't have the greatest season last year, being at LSU, dealing with all the controversy, dealing with that and that program, and then taking the leap of faith, transferring to a whole nother program, not really sure where the direction of the program was going to go. And you just continue to ball out. You continue to put your team on your shoulders. You continue to be a great leader, and you continue to propel your program towards the national championship. And I can't be more excited for that kind of situation for Haley than anybody else right now. And so with that being said, we're going to just jump right into it with Elite Eight, my picks, and then you guys in the comments, you guys let me know what you guys are thinking. You guys let Naya know what you guys are thinking. Let us know, fill us in, like, share, subscribe, and I promise you we will get back to you guys and more content is on the way. But breaking back to the Elite Eight, so we have UConn and USC. I am so hurt and I am so offended by the basketball gods that we don't get to see Juju versus Paige on the big stage. I mean, I literally am heartbroken that matchup is exactly what we wanted. We saw it in the brackets leading up to the tournament. We said as a joke in the WBB community, we all knew as a joke, we want to see USC and UConn, and we finally got it, and Juju's not going to be there. So I'm disappointed and heartbroken. So I'm not really geeked over that game too much just because of the circumstances now. We're not going to get the same team. So I'm not really too excited about it. I'm pretty sure USC is going to come out with the win. So I don't really see it as an upset because it's not an even playing field. So nonetheless, probably congratulations to UConn. If USC can hold on and come out with the win, that would probably be the biggest story of the tournament so far. But I'll probably give the nod to UConn just because they're at full strength. The next game that we have Texas versus TCU. I'll be honest with you. I got TCU for the upset. Haley, like I said, has been playing lights out. TCU is playing encouraged basketball right now. Texas is playing a little bit sloppy to still be in the tournament as the #1 overall seed. So I'm going to give the nod to TCU. I think their guard play is phenomenal. I think they have enough size on the inside to match up with Texas. I think they have enough people that can defend against Maddie Booker. So I really like the matchup. I like that the game might be a lot closer for us as fans than people's liking. But I'm okay with that. And I really do hope we get to see a really, really good game. But yeah, if I had to give someone the nod, I'm going to give it to TCU. To the other side of the bracket, so USC, LSU. I'm sorry, UCLA and LSU. I'm going to give the nod to LSU. LSU wants the smoke. All the smoke and nothing but the smoke. And if you were watching the press conferences after the games, you've been hearing how the ladies have been talking. LSU is locked in. And I think that spells bad for UCLA. I think they're going to try to run them out the gym. They're going to try to put Lauren in as many situations where she has to move her feet on offense and on defense. And I think they're going to put her in a position where she's going to tire out and they're going to have to rely on somebody else. And that's when LSU is going to get their break. I think this is going to be a battle of the bigs between Anissa and Lauren. And I think whoever can out-rebound and whoever can finish at the rim better, given the situation defensively, I think that's the team that'll come out victorious. If Flau'jae can get unlocked a little bit, I know she's been dealing with some injuries. If she can get unlocked and come around and give them an extra 20-25 points for this game, it completely changes everything for LSU. So I got my money on LSU. I'm taking it to the bank. I think they can come out with the win and the upset over UCLA. Lock it in. Last and final game of the weekend, we got South Carolina going against Duke. I'll be honest with you. I think especially because of how South Carolina played the last two games, I think they're going to come out with a statement win tomorrow. And I say that because I think they've been tired of looking below their own personal standards. And if you know Coach Dawn Staley, you know that she doesn't play about her standards. And so I think South Carolina is going to come out like a car caught on fire with the wheels burning, rolling downhill. I expect the defense to be on point from the jump. I expect their energy on offense to be better. I expect them to rebound better. I expect them to play defense better. I expect them to shoot the ball better. I expect a lot more out of South Carolina come tomorrow. And so I'm really, really excited to see how their response is, and see how dominant they are against Duke. Like I said, I like Duke. I like what they can bring to the table, but just watching their game, I don't think offensively they have enough scoring power to match up against Duke. I think they have enough defensive prowess to match up against South Carolina. But as far as the scoring goes, I don't think Duke has enough of what you need to actually win against South Carolina if they begin to start clicking. So that's why my money is on South Carolina. Now, however, if Duke can get an early start defensively and kind of knock South Carolina out of their rhythm, keep the game to a half-court game, keep them from running, and keep it to where you have to dominate us on that half-court, run your set, run your offense every single possession, I think Duke might have a chance. Not a big chance, but I think they have a chance. So I'm really, really excited. These games are going to be fire. There's more to come. Like I said, Hoops and Hustle family, so excited to join you guys. So excited to be a part of the family. Looking forward to more and more podcasts, more and more information, more and more episodes coming out. So excited to be a part of this family. You guys like, share, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Till next time, we'll see y'all later. Hoops and Hustle family, let's go!